Hello everyone, here we are back together again, and today I am doing another book review. I'm doing The Dragon Factory by Johnathan Maberry. So if you've seen my previous book review, I reviewed Patient Zero, which is the first in the Joe Ledger series. This is the second one. So you'll see a lot of returning characters. You see, of course, the ever so wonderful Joe Ledger, still hilarious, still messed up in the head, still badass. You'll have Church. You'll see a kind of different side of him, maybe a more sentimental side, if that makes sense. Grace Cortland returns as another soldier in the DMS and Joe Ledger's love interest. But you also see a lot of new characters, especially the villains. So, how does the book start off? Joe finds himself targeted by the NSA. They're coming to arrest him, along with all the leading figures in the DMS, the Department of Military Sciences, which is the organization that Joe works for. And so what this book does is, in Patient Zero, you have the introduction to this Joe Ledger world. What Dragon Factory does is it shows the reader that in this universe, and it also introduces Joe Ledger to more shadowy powers that be type figures. He comes to learn that there's these different secret organizations. The first one that's mentioned is in this book it's called the Cabal. And he comes to learn that these forces of evil are a lot older than he was initially aware of. And so let's go to the villains. You have Cyrus Jacoby, who is and his assistant Otto Worths, who in his initial descriptions they are the two worst mass murderers of all time. Their method of genocide is actually with pathogens. They use particular diseases that are susceptible to certain demographics of people, like Tay-Sachs and whatnot, and they basically weaponize these viruses to eliminate large groups of people. Then there's another group of kind of geneticists called the Jacoby twins, who are actually Cyrus's children. Paris and Hecate. They are, I believe I'm messing her name up, I'm sorry. Their goal is, they do a lot of gene splicing as well, mixing humans and animals and whatnot, a lot of which they then sell to the highest bidder for they create like superhuman soldiers. They will create mythological characters. I don't want to say which ones, I'm not trying to give too much away. And then then it's found out that there used to be this group called the Cabal, it's heavily implied that Cyrus and Otto were part of. The Cabal was this shadowy organization that was made up of former Nazis. And back in the day, Church and the group that initial group that he was with, called the List, had hunted down the Cabal and took them out. They were initially thought to have been extinct, all of them destroyed, but it turns out that they're actually alive and well. Adding to the thriller is this plan that Cyrus and Otto have called the Extinction Wave, which, without giving too much away, their plan is to wipe out most of the world's population and then leave whoever's left to fight until the strongest survive. So they're social Darwinists. And then there's also the introduction of another character, Conrad Veeder. Conrad Veeder is an assassin who is hired by Cyrus and Otto to take out their old enemies, including Mr. Church. Conrad Veeder he's probably, of all the villains in this book, he's probably my favorite because, aside from these people that are mostly radical idealists, Conrad is just an assassin. He's only out there to do what he does best and make his money. In a way, he acts kind of as a antithesis to Joe Ledger, who is more of, a badass, but he also fights for what's right. Conrad is complete and total opportunist. But he also has connections to Cyrus Jacobi and Otto Wirths that goes back beyond. That goes back beyond just doing this job for them. He used to be affiliated with them before. So he's a fantastic villain. He also appears in a Joe Ledger audiobook that was fantastic as well. Anyway, so this book really goes further into the sci-fi aspect with gene therapy and whatnot, a lot of which that admittedly kind of goes over my head, so it's kind of hard for me to describe everything. But it really shows that Johnathan Maberry has really played around with this field before. Not exactly him being a scientist, but he's really delved into the realms of science and sci-fi. It's definitely, it has, the traditional, the action, of course, is great. There's a scene, one of my particular favorite action scenes in the book is when Joe is going to interrogate this guy. So he picks a fight with this guy. And he just keeps slapping him. Like, the guy will try to punch him. He blocks it, slaps him. The guy will, pull a knife on him. Joe takes out his hand, slaps the guy again. He just keeps slapping him because it's a psychological tactic where if he were to just fight this guy, fists, punches and kicks and uses a weapon on him, then the guy will take a defeat as a warrior. But if he slaps him, now he's treating him like a kid, and this guy is supposed to be this big, tough mercenary, so he's breaking him down mentally. It's that brilliant writing. He's great with bringing in, adding horror aspects to the story. Like I said, I love the fight scenes. They're so descriptive. You really, you find yourself just lost them and wanting to reread them because they're so fantastic. Also, it further develops Joe's relationships with the other people, with Church, with Grace Cortland, who's introduced in Patient Zero. They started a relationship, and now you really see more of how they both have feelings for each other, but they're also warriors in this battle that is claiming a lot of people on their side. So they're struggling with, should they be together? Should they deny their feelings because they're both soldiers and they can easily die? So that's a great conflict for them, seeing that develop between them. If you enjoy Patient Zero, you have to pick up Dragon Factory. It really it's kind of like in John Wick when everything's kind of implied, and then it really just takes that universe and expands it, and you get a much broader idea, broader perspective of this world. That the world is always constantly on the verge of destroying itself. So please check it out. Fantastic book. If you enjoy thrillers, please also check out my own books at jamesmichaelsbooks.com. I'm more of a crime thriller guy myself, but again, if you love thriller, you'll love me. And please follow, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Peace.